the scene in the movie Dead Poets Society when the teacher, played by Robin Williams, jumped up onto the desk in the classroom to show the students there was another way of looking at things. Of course, they all jumped up and changed their perspective. Well, today I thought I'd have my first espresso on the roof of this lovely house to remind myself that a change in point of view, a change in perception, a change in the way of looking at things is often a very important part of creativity. So it's about 6 AM here on the roof of this house in Denmark, and as I said, I'm taking my first espresso of the morning, and it gives me a good opportunity to recap what I said yesterday in part 2, that essentially there were really two states of manifestation. One, the first, perhaps the most important, is to get reconnected with the state of inspiration, and then track it all the way down, all the way through, step it down. As I said, figure of speech only, that serves to illustrate. There are certain steps and stages in this. So from inspiration, we become in tune to our intuition. From intuition, we become imaginative. From there, we begin to contemplate. Remember that burst of creative power and strength and courage from the heart to believe in our intuition, to follow through. Then we begin to determine the course of action. That's great activity. You must have that logical linear action plan in life. Then comes the real work, the perspiration, which is the realization aspect of what you're doing. There's one other word that will help that all the way through, and I'll come to that a little later on. And then, as long as you work, as long as you follow through, something will be manifested. And then you can fine-tune it, you can work it, you can change it. At least you brought something in, you have something to work with. It's an action step. So I'll leave you with that this morning, and then we'll pick up something else I'd like to talk about, which I think is the glue, which is the energy of the whole thing, which without, nothing will happen. It's good. Okay, that word is enthusiasm. I'm going to talk about why that is important right now. So let me say something about enthusiasm. Entheos, the word, means to be in a way divinely possessed, to have the energy, the creative energy of the God force, basically infusing your spirit. Without getting too religious, and you don't have to believe necessarily in God. You just have to look around yourself and see, the incredible creativity that's around us. I certainly do, and I'm inspired by nature. But getting back to this word enthusiasm, this word, the energy of enthusiasm really is the sparkle of the spirit, and it's the thing that will keep you going from inspiration to manifestation. Inspiration will leave you. You cannot maintain 100% inspired state all the time. Like the in-breath and the out-breath, there's the ebb and the flow. There's times on your project when you've actually initiated whatever it is that you're doing, you're going to need a boost. You're going to need something to inject your spirit with energy, and that's enthusiasm. So I would suggest that you begin to connect with people, project-based lifestyle people, working on their creativity. Get with them. It doesn't matter what they're doing. They could be doing something completely different to what you're doing, but the fact is, hanging with them, you're going to pick up some of that force, some of that enthusiasm. And that's often what you need sometimes when you're beginning to get down a little bit, is just a little zap to plug yourself back in. Then you can switch yourself back on and get right back into the fray. Without enthusiasm, you'll do nothing. Okay, let me just finish this up. There has been probably no time in our history where the opportunities to create and lead a project-based lifestyle, which means basically, generating your income source from your own independent creativity. There's been no time in history that we had access to the creating tools and the technology that you need to create. So the time is right. And the thing is, if you get a little bit overwhelmed by this, and maybe you're in a sort of a steady but boring job and you want to get out and you're not quite sure what you want to do, understand that the edge of creativity, the known and the unknown, is exactly where you have to be sometimes. Stay with it. You won't exactly know what it is that you want to do, but if you get inspired, if you become intuitive, it'll come to you. So at that point, feeling a kind of uncertainty is really part of what this is. Eventually you get to be able to trust that. You're able to stand on the edge of uncertainty and know that if you stay tuned, if you stay inspired, if you stay connected to your spirit, to intuition, you'll eventually get the information you need, and the opportunity will open up for you to move into the direction you want to be, to meet the people you have to meet, to find the resources that you need to build your creative project. At the end of the day, it's about making something. You know, so I mean, hang around tradespeople. You know, the people that just make things with their hands, craftspeople, simple, humble things. Doesn't matter. In a way, they are actually in a great position, because they actually see evidence of what they've created probably every day or every week. Whereas a lot of people involved in different aspects of society and commerce and information never actually get to see the fruits of their labor. And I think that's a really good thing to know, how to get to the point where you can actually produce something. So, I guess I've ranted on quite a bit with this over these 3 episodes of this, but I guess in closing, just remember that if you're not creating, you've just lost touch with inspiration. As soon as you get in touch with inspiration, then just trust. Follow your bliss, as Joseph Campbell once said. And you'll eventually find yourself back into that creative loop. So don't wait, don't hesitate, become inspired and create. I wish you well. So let me leave you with a secret. Sometimes all you need to become inspired to create is a good double espresso.